Hi, this is Dr. Wooten. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to extract the hurricane data and the process of cleaning it and prepping it to be analyzed. For the Foundations of Data Analytics course, this won't be a matter of prepping it to be compiled with the buoy data. So I've given you the website. I'm going to go ahead and go to this website. Alright, what we need is the best hurricane tracks right here, Hurricane DAT 2. It's going to take us to where we can link to it. And when we link to this data set, this is its raw form. So I'm going to Control A to pick them all up, Control C to copy them, and then open an Excel file. I'm going to paste the information and label this my raw data. Then I'm going to go to a second worksheet and begin manipulating this data. So I've pasted the same set of data, but this time I'm going to pull it apart. So now if you notice there's a column here that has no entries for the most part. If I delimit this using a space and a comma, this first blank spot will just jump over that category, but the category with L will still show, which will put everything off. Let me show you. So if I go to data and text into columns, we want it to be delimited by a comma and a space. So do you see it breaks it up beautifully, but what happens when we finish this, it also is going to give me the option to classify each measure, but I'm going to leave them all general right now. So do you see the ones that have that L are pushed out of place? So I'm going to undo that. And what I'm going to do is replace these blanks with nothing. At least all I really need to replace is the L with nothing. So I'm going to say Control H, which says, what do you want to replace? I want to replace the comma, space, L, comma, with just a comma. Replace all. There was over 1,000 instances where this occurred. Now when I translate the text into columns, using the same delimiting factors, we have no shifting of the data. Notice that column is not even there because it was empty. Alright, most of this data, the negative 999, indicates missing information. As you see here, we have the year, month, and day in the first column, the hour in the second, the status in the third, the latitude, longitude, the wind speed, but here we appear to be missing pressure. That's because pressure readings were not accurate in the 1850s. So we're going to clean this data down to just beyond 1995 when Doppler radar came into place. I'm going to insert an extra column. I'm going to grab the year. Actually, I'm just going to code it and say if the year is greater than, so let's do this. If, I need to put equal sign, if the value to the left of this string four spaces is greater than or equal to 1995, put a 1. We're going to keep that data, otherwise put a 0. We're not to get rid of that data. The value function needs to just go on the string. There we go. So this is not before 1995, so the 0 makes sense. So I'm going to drop this all the way down. If you notice, there are 3 types of arrows. This will move the cell that's crossed arrows. This plus sign won't get you into the cell, but if I see this black plus sign, I can double click and it'll paste it all the way down. Alright, so this is reading the extra. Notice that the difference between these hours is not the same. This is 6, this is 6. These are additional readings. You notice they don't have any information in them anyway, so I'm going to filter this. And I'm going to delete the ones that, actually, you know what? We'll keep this as our secondary raw file. What we'll do is we'll select, we have two choices. We can delete what we don't need or extract what we want to keep. I'm going to go ahead and extract what I want to keep. So I'm going to take this first row, Control Shift down arrow, copy what is remaining. And notice it only copies what shows. And I will paste it here. So now we have 1995 as our first year. We don't have any headings. Let's go ahead and insert a row. And we don't need any of this information. We're only interested in the wind speed and the pressure within a storm. We're going to keep latitude and longitude, the status of the storm, and the timestamp. We don't need that first column anymore either. What I am going to do, however, is break this date code into year, month, day. So I'm going to put 3 columns up front. So we're going to put year, month, day. This is the date. This is the hour. Well, hour in time form because we don't need the last 2 years. We're not measuring it to the second. Hour times the hundreds. We'll clean that up. Our raw, let's call that. And then we have the status. Then we have the latitude and the longitude, the wind speed, and the pressure. Alright, so to get the timestamp, what we're going to do, or the breakdown of the time, we're going to say equals. Now if I just put to the left of this string 4 spaces, notice it's a line to the left, which means it's being read as a character, and we want it to be read as a numerical value. So I'm going to put the word value, the function value up front. And now notice I'm typing in lowercase, but it keeps turning it to capitals because capitals are the default, and Excel is not case sensitive. So now notice it's aligned to the right, which means it is reading it as a number. So we want this one to equal the value in the middle, so mid of the string, and notice it tells you the next information it needs is where you're starting and how many characters. So we want this string starting with space 5, and we only needed 2 spaces. So notice it gives us the month, and this one we want the value to the right of the string, 2 positions, and there we have the third day. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add an extra column here so that I can put the clean hour. So the hour is going to be basically the raw hour divided by 100 because we're removing the seconds. Alright, so if I were to pick up these 4 lines, double click them down, now we have the time. Now we have the year, month, day, and hour of the storm. And notice we have gaps because we only have this measured every 6 hours. So I'm going to create a timestamp. My timestamp in this example will be after the first day of 1995. So we want equals the date defined by the year, month, and day, plus the number of hours, which is a part of a day. So we're going to say plus this value here divided by 24. Now this is the day past. I'm sorry, divided by, 24 hours in a day. This is the time of day, so we'll subtract date 1995 first month, the first entry. And so this is how many days past the beginning of the year. But because we don't want to deal with fractions, we're going to say this is the timestamp in hours. No, timestamp in days. We want the timestamp in hours, so we don't have to deal with fractions. So I'm going to call this one timestamp. And it will equal how many days times 24 hours. And then we can do the same little trick. And now we have the information we need to start analysis. We have a timestamp that allows us to plot it over time. We can plot wind speed and pressure together. Now we haven't finished verifying and cleaning all the data, but verification of the data can happen when we start drawing graphics. It's always a matter of verifying and cleaning your data. Alright, hope that helped.